A good and fitting soundtrack is essential to any title. The soundtrack is what can easily make or break a game. The reason for this is it brings the atmosphere and world to life. A horror game needs a creepy soundtrack to intensify the horror. A sci-fi game needs a sci-fi themed soundtrack to give it that futuristic feeling. Every so often, however, a soundtrack fits a game so well that it alone carries it to brilliance. Capsized is a sci-fi platform game developed and published by Canadian developer Alientrap. The game released April 29, 2011 on Steam and GOG.com. It later released on iOS under Capsized Plus February 13, 2013 and was published by Indiewatch. To date, Nexius, the 2005 version, Capsized and Apotheon are Alientrap's only fully released games. They currently have 3 games in early access: Modbox, Maximum Overdrive and Autocraft. The plot to Capsized is told through still images that act as cutscenes as opposed to animated cutscenes or dialogue. Your ship is struck by an unidentified object, causing it to begin crashing onto the planet below. You get into an escape pod and are jettisoned into space. The pod crash lands on the planet below and you emerge to find yourself stranded on an alien planet. You grab your carbine blaster and begin to journey out into the mysterious world in hope of surviving crewmates and a way off the planet. When it comes to 2D platform games, the story is very often a secondary focus of the developer. While there is plot to be found with Capsized, it isn't anything spectacular. It is simply there to create a setting and reason for you being on the alien planet and an understandable continuation of the levels. Essentially, the story is you crash land on an alien planet, you must fight your way through the hostile planet, finding surviving crew members and a way to send a distress signal. Once the signal is sent, you are able to get off the planet. That is pretty much it. There's no story behind the alien world or its inhabitants. I feel that it is an opportunity missed. Everything about the world is mysterious and interesting. A background story behind it and its inhabitants would have been greatly appreciated. Not only that, but it could have created an intriguing universe capable of expanding in future titles. To maneuver around the levels, you will have a number of tools at your disposal. The first is the hook. This allows you to grab hold of objects of all shapes and sizes and move them. Using it, you can move obstacles blocking your path that would otherwise be impossible to move. Smaller objects can be thrown to break barricades or vines, along with hurting enemies. It can also be used to latch onto walls to pull yourself up, or to hold lighter objects to use as a shield against projectiles. Next is the gravity ram. It allows you to push yourself into the opposite direction you aim it. You can get to areas that would be otherwise unreachable using the hook. In areas of low gravity, it allows you to propel yourself long distances and at great speed. The third is the always trusty jetpack. While its usage is limited unless you get the recharge power-up, it comes to great use in larger, more open areas. It is always a guarantee to get to those hard to reach areas, assuming you have the fuel. You also have the ability to wall jump. While it being the least exciting method of getting around, it does the job where others won't. While these tools are generally awesome to use, they do have some flaws. The hook, while useful, is a bit fiddly to use. It can be very hard to move certain objects, particularly bigger ones in tighter spaces. Later in the game, it is essential to use the hook to create a shield. While it works most of the time, it is near impossible to keep it in position required to block the projectiles. The ram is great fun to use, particularly in low gravity areas, but it is random as to how effective it is. Sometimes it will work brilliantly and as intended, other times it has the effect of a baby's fart as opposed to doing what it is supposed to. As for the jetpack, it feels a bit wimpy. While it does exactly as it is used for, it is quite slow. I understand that this is due to game balance, but it just makes it unsatisfying to use. A slightly faster moving speed with it would make it much more enjoyable to use. All in all, despite my criticisms, the tools are quite fun to use and their flaws at times lead to comical moments. As you make your way through the alien world, you will come across plenty of hostile beings. Some being the wildlife of the planet, giant fly-like creatures, wolves, and more. The wildlife is but the least of your worries. It is the planet's inhabitants that are the most hostile and dangerous of all. The aliens come in all shapes and sizes, from small and weak creatures to flying ones to magical priests to the juggernaut guardians. Each enemy has its own attack and behaviour, resulting in different tactics required for each enemy. The enemies are all well balanced and offer a fair challenge for the point in the game they first appear. To defend yourself against these beings, you have an array of weapons at your disposal. The weapons include the standard unlimited ammunition carbine blaster, assault rifle, flamethrower, rocket launcher, and even a weapon that creates a black hole. Each weapon has a unique all-fire too that comes in handy for different situations. For example, the all-fire on the assault rifle acts like a shotgun, while while on the flamethrower acts as a shield to block off incoming projectiles. I find the weapons to be well balanced, fun to use, and all useful in their own right. The level design of Capsized is generally good. At the beginning of the game the levels are relatively small, allowing you to get to grips with the gameplay. As you progress through the game they gradually get bigger. They also offer a gradual increase in difficulty as you progress. There are a variety of different environments you journey through. These include jungles, alien settlements, temples, ancient trap rooms, and alien nesting grounds. A single environment is never used for more than 2 levels, keeping them fresh throughout the game. There are secrets to be found in each level containing new weapons, power-ups and extra lives. They are found by finding the hidden entrance in the walls. While this may seem simple, finding them can be harder and more complex than it first seems. You can always see where they are, resulting in the game teasing you with goodies while you attempt to find the entrance. While generally good, the level design is not without its flaws. The levels are well balanced in the increase in difficulty for the most part, but towards the end become a bit obscene. Around the 7th level things begin to get harder than they need to be. This is more due to the level's traps and fiddly hook mechanic, but it is a massive spike in difficulty. After that the levels become filled with enemies to the point of near tripling if not quadrupling the total in each level. Due to the unpredictable effectiveness of the gravity ramp, the later levels can also cause frustration. The ramp becomes a necessity and can cause you to fall down great heights that you spend time climbing. While there are faults to be found, the levels are fun. Few cause frustration, but enjoyment definitely outweighs it. At the end of each level, you are rated out of 10 stars. The quicker you are and the more secrets you find, the more stars you earn. You are deducted stars for dying and for playing on easy and medium difficulty. While it is a fun system, it is very harsh. The hard difficulty is crucifying, particularly in the later levels. Attempting to get 10 stars on each level is a feat for only the most patient and determined players. The alien world is something of a sight to behold. It exactly fits what would be defined as alien. It is strange, mysterious, and nothing like anything you've seen before. To create the required atmosphere it would need an equally as alien soundtrack. The soundtrack to the game is provided by Magnus Bergerson, aka Solarfields, and from his album from 2009, Movement. The music has an alien feel to it that helps create this immense alien feeling that makes the game simply absorb you. If it wasn't for the fitting of the soundtrack, I don't feel that the game would hold so well. It is one of those rare instances where the soundtrack is what carries the game. Without it, it would be a far worse game, as its atmosphere is what truly makes it magnificent. Capsized is far from being a perfect game. It has its flaws and quite a few of them. What it does well, however, outweighs those flaws. It scrapes itself into fitting the criteria for being featured on Indiewatch by the skin of its teeth. If it wasn't for that magical soundtrack, it wouldn't have. It's a good game, it's beautiful, and the sound and music are outstanding. Its level design is good and varied, but flawed in later levels, and its mechanics are fun but can cause frustration. The enemies themselves and weapons are all well balanced and fun. If you enjoy platform games and don't mind having a few minor problems, then you may just enjoy it. If having some clunky controls and a large difficulty spike doesn't sound appealing to you, then Capsized may not be the choice of platform game for you. It is a flawed but enjoyable game. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, take care and have fun.